Hello everybody, welcome to the 6th answer video in my question and answer series. This one will probably be the last one. If not, there'll be one more. But we're nearing the end. And so, let's jump right in. This episode is brought to you by a generic glass of water. See that? I got this glass from IKEA when I bought all this furniture, including this desk, this chair, and the futon in the other room. They were selling these, so I bought some. Okay. Let's see. Alright, well, we have a few more questions by Wariolandgoldpiramid. So, 25. Have you ever fallen in love? Did you have your first kiss? Yes, I did fall in love in a manner of speaking. I mean, love is a very hard thing to define, but pretty much, if you want to define love as a very strong desire and affection for somebody that's of an intense level, then yes, I did. And that was when I met my ex-girlfriend in the fall of '04. And as far as first kiss, I also had that with her. I was 18, and it was New Year's Day, 2005. And our first kiss was actually in the train station, the Market East train station in Philadelphia, about 3 in the morning. We were basically waiting for, we were there for New Year's, but we missed the last train out of Philly because we sort of wasted time, and, we went for ice cream and did a bunch of other things until the last train left at like 1:30 in the morning or so we had to stay there all night. And, one thing led to another, and that's how I had my first kiss. So, that's that story boiled down to a 2-second nugget. It's interesting because now, since we're almost up to New Year's, it's almost the 7-year anniversary of that moment. 26. What is your opinion on gays and lesbians? What do you do if a guy falls in love with you? I think gays and lesbians are awesome and cool, and I completely support the movement. The LGBT movement. It's a very good thing that we have that, and I've known a number of gays and lesbians over the years, and it's they're not that much different than anyone else. People who think that they're weird or are just need to actually meet a gay person or two and get to know them, then they'll realize they're basically just like anyone else, except they just prefer the same gender rather than the opposite one. I had a gay coworker at Wawa by the name of Jimmy, and he was awesome. He was very friendly, very helpful. He had almost a desperate desire to please people. I mean, he had plenty of problems too, and he was eventually fired for stealing like a paisley sum of money, like $1 or something. But he, if I had invented him in one of my stories as a character, everyone would look at me and say, like, come on, no person that's that stereotypically gay could exist, But he was real, He spoke with the accent, and he was very horny, and he lusted after every guy, some encroaching on ages that were way too young, but we all knew he was harmless. And he did like me. He was attracted to me, and he let it be known. And you know what? I was not the slightest bit uncomfortable. In fact, I reveled in the attention that he gave me, and I thought it was hilarious. And I let that go on for the entire length of time that we worked together, which was over a year. So yeah, he was awesome. 27. What will happen on December 21st, 2012? Most likely I'll go to work, go to the gym, come home, and drink. That's about it. Maybe I will listen to some music. Maybe I'll play some video games. And everyone else will have a relatively uninteresting day. And there's probably going to be a few people that are very disappointed that the world didn't end. But it won't. Maybe. Alright. Well, I believe that's the end of his questions. So the next... Oh wait, no, he has one more. 28. Did you like my questions? Actually, yes, I do like your questions. The last answer video, your questions got a little tedious after a while, and a little silly, but they were much better this time. I've had a lot of good answers, I think, that stemmed from your questions. So I commend you for an improved question list, I guess, whatever. Okay, the next 8 questions are all asked by floor member EmpororElso. So, how you doing, Elso? 1. Will you do a Sims 3 Let's Play? Just kidding. Kumquat. 2. What kind of music do you listen to? I actually already answered this in the first video, I think it was. So I don't know if I need to rehash this again today. But I'm just going to say, if you live in the Philly area, or if you are visiting, there are pretty much 4 stations that I flick between on the radio. There's 93.3 WMMR, Radio 104.5. They're both rock stations. MMR is sort of your mainstream rock station, like modern rock. Radio 104.5 plays mostly alternative rock, almost entirely. Some indie rock, too. I've learned a lot of new, cool songs from them that I wouldn't have known had I not listened to them, because no one else plays a lot of the things that they do. Then there's MGK, 102.9 MGK. It's a classic rock station. Your standard classic rock station. I don't listen to it quite as much as I used to, but it's a solid, very long-lasting station. And then the 4th station I listen to is 95.7 Ben FM, which is one of the last true variety stations. It plays everything from, rock to pop to, all kinds of music from the modern times to the old era. I've heard everything from Guns N' Roses to the Rolling Stones to Kesha on Ben FM. So, well, I don't think I ever heard Kesha, but I've heard Lady Gaga on there. So, pretty much, they play everything. It's a true variety station. So, if you want variety, there's where you go. So, between those 4 stations, that's where I usually rotate around when I'm, driving. But I would trade them all to get 94 WISP back, because they were the best rock station that has ever existed in the history of the world. So, if you don't live in Philly, none of that makes any difference to you. But if you don't live in or near Philly, you don't matter anyway. So, too bad. Until you move to Philly, you don't matter. Okay. 3. Do you curse a lot in the car like I do? I thought you were like 13. How are you driving? But, regardless, yeah, I don't curse in the car any more than I do anywhere else. I would consider myself a moderate cursor, like the average person my age and my demographic. But yeah, I don't curse any more or less than I do anywhere else. I guess that's it. 4. What is your opinion on these more Sims 2 people? We'll put it to you this way. I'm a pretty easygoing guy who doesn't get really bothered by whatever people say in the comments. Like, if someone says first, I don't care. If someone says a troll comment, I don't care. Even if somebody flames me, I don't really care. But after over a year of this, I am actually starting to get a little bit annoyed with the more Sims 2 questions. Like, almost every day I check my inbox to see what comments, what videos were commented on, and almost every day there's at least one comment on a video that has nothing to do with The Sims 2 that says, oh, make more Sims 2. Like, for instance, just today, I uploaded my newest Sonic the Hedgehog 3 video before I went to work. After work, I came back and I checked my comments to see if anyone commented on that video, along with every other video, and there was one comment, and it was a person asking for more Sims 2. And I find that kind of annoying, because if you're going to ask for more Sims 2, you should do it on the channel comments page, or failing that, at least one of the other Sims 2 videos. I mean, it's still a little annoying, but at least it's like in the context of what's going on. It's like if you go to see a band and the leader of that band had been in a previous band, you don't go shouting for songs from that previous band, because that's not the band they're in right now. Unless they do songs from the previous band, but that's another thing entirely. That's mixing metaphors. So, I'm not saying that I wish people wouldn't do it at all, because, it at least shows that people are interested, and that's always a good thing. I like to know that people are interested in what I do, but I don't know. I'm tired of The Sims 2 spill over into everything, where, no matter what I do, people are going to ask for Sims 2. And it doesn't entirely happen with Sims 2. SimCity and Minecraft both get people asking about it, and even Civ 3 get people asking about it once in a while on other videos. And it's something that I wouldn't mind happening, except with The Sims 2, it's a daily thing. It's kind of annoying. 5. What is your favorite sport to play? That's a good question. I really don't play any sports, any team sports at least. I mean, I kind of wish I knew people around me that did, because probably what I'd like to do if I did is play basketball, because, basketball is not my favorite sport to watch, but as far as playing, I'm relatively fast and nimble, and I can jump fairly decently, and I can shoot okay, So that's a game of, like, backyard basketball in somebody's driveway with a little hoop. That's something I'd really love to do if I knew people who did that, because that would be fun. My favorite sport overall is baseball. That's my favorite sport, but I think it's a little bit too, it would take a lot of organization to get a baseball game together. It would be hard just to play baseball casually, where it's a lot easier to play basketball casually. And it might be just more fun to play basketball than baseball, even if it is more fun, in my opinion, to watch baseball. 6. When is the last time you shaved? As of this moment, 13 hours ago. Alright. 7. Should Lauren Elena have won? I'm not sure who that is. To the Googles. Okay. We're just going to copy this. Lauren Elena. Paste. She's an American singer from Roseville, Georgia. Aliana, how do you pronounce her name? Was the runner-up on the 10th season of American Idol. Oh, okay. Most recent American Idol. Well, I don't watch American Idol. I mean, I remember I was there for the final of the first season where Kelly Clarkson won, but that was, of course, many years ago. So I have no opinion on that, having no clue anything about her. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I would have to hear her sing and think about it to make an informed decision, and I'm not going to do that now. I might not even do it at all, but maybe, who knows. 8. Are you tired of Wariolandgoldpiramid's numerous questions? No, not really. I mean, they have improved since last time, like I said before. And they're pretty good. I haven't been too annoyed by them. Really haven't been annoyed by any of them, to be honest. Okay. Alright. We got another question by Lord Noaz. 16. Will you ever win in life? Well, there's only one way out of life, and that's death. And death is usually considered losing. But that's for most people. I myself will win life, because I am awesome. That's just how things are. Alright. Okay, a few more questions by Wariolandgoldpiramid. 29. What character from The Simpsons is your favorite? I don't know. I was never really much of a Simpsons viewer. I mean, sure, I've seen episodes here and there, but, you know, I never really watched too much of the episodes. I don't know. It just never... I'm pretty sure I would like it if I watched it. I just never had the opportunity to sit down and really watch it. So, who am I going to say? Well, maybe I'll just pick an easy answer for this and say Bart Simpson, because he was an icon in the early 90s and a symbol of, you know, rebellious, troublemaking youth of my generation and probably the generation slightly before mine at that point. But, okay, whatever. Fine, I'll pick Bart. 30. How do you plan on celebrating Christmas, and will you make a Christmas episode of anything at all? Well, seeing that it's already December 22nd, it's unlikely that I'm going to have time to make a Christmas episode of anything. I mean, you know, the Christmas episode of Sims 2 that I made back in 2009 was something I'm very proud of to this day. But, I don't know, I don't think anything is going to happen Christmas-wise unless I made it of something very different. This glass of water has like little craps in it. Well, not literally craps, but, you know, little black dots and brown dots and stuff. Oh, yeah. Whatever. Makes the immune system stronger. As far as celebrating Christmas, I have the day off from work, which is kind of nice. I mean, it is the only day in the year where you can actually make double time by working, but I was not put on, so I'm going to almost certainly be visiting my parents. It will be the first Christmas that my sister will not be present because she is in Japan. That's right. I don't know if I told anyone about this, but my sister is in Japan teaching English to Japanese high school students, I think. That's what she's doing anyway. I think she's teaching English. But obviously the expense and just the time it takes to get from there to here and back makes it not worth it for her to come. I mean, she left in July of this year, and she won't be back until July of next year. Stupid speakers. But at least I'll be there to spend Christmas with my parents. We'll probably watch a Christmas movie. We have sort of a tradition that we watch either It's a Wonderful Life or White Christmas. Two very good movies. by the way, A Wonderful Life being made in the 40s and White Christmas being made in the 60s, both very classic movies that definitely deserve the reputation they have. So that's going to be fun. Okay, 31. Why am I not a member of your forum? Because you are being a lame-o and not signing up. Come on, sign up, go over, have fun. Everybody has fun on the House of Sim. So stop being a lame-o and go over and join. Lame-o. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding about the lame-o thing. But really, come join. Not just you, but everyone else who's watching this video who's not a House of Sim member. Come join. You'll be glad you did. 32. How are things with the girl? I assume that by this question you are talking about the girl that I was interested in back in the winter and spring, almost a year ago now. Well, nothing ever happened, and sorry to say, but you were a little slow because this news is like 6, 7, 8 months old by now. But yeah, nothing happened. Don't think about her. But whatever, you know. I don't think she was... The more I think about it, the more unsuitable she seems. I mean, she seemed like she had a few problems, you know. A few instabilities. Plus, I think she had a little bit of a white trash bent to her, in a way. Not that much, but enough that I noticed. Okay. OMG is the final question. 33. Which question, out of all questions by all users, was the best? That's hard to say. There were a lot of good questions that provoked a lot of thought. So I'm going to say the best question was... If Eric was not gay, what color would he be? And the answer was purple. That was the best question. Alright. Okay. Mega Shadow 41 asks, how do you feel about it becoming 2012 already? Well, time flies, and by the time you're, you know, my age, let alone older, you get used to years becoming other years. I remember when I was a kid, every new year would seem weird to me. Like, it just writing the number down and looking at the number and thinking about it just seemed weird. Like, when it was 1993, I thought that 1994 sounded weird, and when 1994 was ending, I thought that 1995 sounded very odd, you know. But you get used to it after a while. I mean, we all make the mistakes of, if we write the date down, we write the previous year during January sometimes because we forget. But, you know, it's been 2011 for a whole year, and I'm ready for it to be 2012. If you were talking about the whole, like, oh, 2012, ooh, thing, then I don't know. I never thought too much about that. You know, I just think it's weird now that we are, you know, it's still hard to wrap my idea around the fact that we're in the 21st century, sorry, even though we've been here. The 21st century is more than 10% done, and that's kind of weird to even think about. And not only are we not in the 90s anymore, we're not even in the decade that came after the 90s. We're not in the zeros anymore, or the knots, or whatever you want to call it. We're now in the tens. It's a completely new decade that I think, you know, is too young to really define, to have a definition. We will know what the tens are like and how they are different from the zeros when time passes. Because right now, I mean, it took a while for me to really see the zeros as having a distinct and different identity as a decade from the 90s. Because it seemed like a sort of lamer offshoot of the 90s for a long time, until just about when they were ending and I realized, hey, this is not like the 90s at all. It's a completely different cultural bent and a completely different mindset. The things people do are very different. And it will happen again with this decade, but again, it's going to take probably until the end of the decade before we can really look back and see how they are different. So 2012, I guess it's cool, you know. I will be 26 throughout most of the year, starting in mid-February. People born in 1994 will be turning 18. You know, people born in 1991 will be turning 21. And people born in 1962 will be turning 50. So it's kind of weird. But it's some, you know, we get used to it. Alright. Hatton755 asked, if you were a ball, what kind of ball would you be? I would be a bouncy ball. One of those plastic bouncy balls you get out of those machines for 25 cents, or you win from arcades, or, you know, you buy from a store and they're like a cent, a few pennies. You just like a boom, 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 and they bounce all around, and you're running after them, and your mom screams at you, stop bouncing that around. You know, I want to be that kind of ball, because that kind of ball is awesome. Okay. Alright. I guess Wariolandgoldpiramid wanted to stick one more on here, so he said, wow, you just answered 113 questions. Amazing. Thank you for counting. I was going to ask if Sue and Amaya got their love of gaming from you, but decided not to. Well, you kind of did. I mean, you didn't phrase it exactly as a question, but you kind of said that you were interested in it. I guess, in some way. I mean, technically, every character got every attribute of their personality from me because I made them. But, I don't know. I've always just seen Sue as a gamer girl, even before I even decided she would be lesbian. I decided she would be a gamer girl because it just sort of made sense somehow. Can't really say why, but it just does. And does it follow after me? Maybe. I mean, I don't really consider myself that much of a gamer, which is kind of ironic considering all that I've done with Bone Canoe 86, but, you know, I consider myself as a person who enjoys video games of certain types sometimes. I guess it does make me a gamer, so maybe I shouldn't argue against the definition. But, yeah, Sue, and I guess Amaya now, really, maybe in some way took after me. I mean, it could be argued that every character takes after me in a different way, but, yeah, that's a topic to get into at a different time, perhaps. Okay, we are now down to the final question on this question video, and it's by this person called Eric the Person 1. And he asked, would you have a sexual experience with a man if you were sober? I can't entirely rule that out. I mean, maybe it'll be interesting to do it once just to say I did, you know? Because so many things I think of, like, you know, I don't really want to do this, but wouldn't it make such a great story if I did it just to say I did? But I don't know, it'll be interesting to compare what a sexual encounter with a man compared to a woman would be like. I mean, I'm not attracted to men, but, you know, it's like one of those things. It's like, whatever, one time won't kill you. One time, I don't know, would I be too awkward to do it? Maybe, but probably not. It really depends. So, on that note, we end this question and answer series. I want to sincerely thank each and every one of you who asked questions, and I want you to know that this really has been a good experience for me answering your questions. The last few days, I've come home from work, and answering your questions is something I have to look forward to. So I'm very glad I was able to do that. I like interacting with my viewers. I don't like the idea that there is a wall between you and I like the idea that we, what I do is largely based on what you are responding to me based on what I did, And these question videos are probably the most direct form of that. So I want you to know, like, if you have any follow-up questions to anything that I have said over the last few videos, or any video, I'm willing to answer those too, because I like talking, and I like talking to you, and so please, by all means, ask more questions. It makes me a happy guy. So that's about it for tonight. I mean, it's a tradition for me to also ask you some questions. Instead of a lot of people asking me questions, I'm going to be asking a lot of people questions. So, but I'm going to do that in a separate video, just because more people are going to respond to that if it's a separate video that has a title like, "Now I ask you questions," rather than tacking it on the end of this video, which a lot of people are not going to watch, just because either their questions are not in it, or they just don't want to, they're not patient enough to get to the end. But whatever case, we're going to make that a separate video. So I want to thank you very sincerely for asking questions, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.